What is up, everybody? I'm Courtney.
I'm Sean.
We're with Hill City Paranormal, HCP Paranormal Podcast. We are supposed to be welcoming the mysterious Mike and Sam with Epic Events LLC. I think they might be a little bit delayed, so we're going to ramble and bore you with our nonsense
And
until,
eat some snacks.
yeah, like that's like our trademark, snacks. Like some people drink during their podcast, some people smoke cigars during their podcast. We eat snacks. All right.
I would smoke cigars. I just don't want that smell lingering in the office.
So, how is everybody? We'll wait a few minutes, let everybody kind of tune in while Sean's eating his snacks. I have ice. So, here we are. This podcast is about all things normal and all things paranormal.
What's normal? In the paranormal world?
No bars are held in this podcast. If there is little viewers or mini viewers, cover their ears because there could be some profane language, inappropriateness, lots of inappropriateness.
Am I ever appropriate?
No, I don't think anybody is.
What's appropriate anymore?
I don't know.
I don't know what appropriate is.
But anyway, who all investigated this past weekend? I know we did. I'd love to hear about that in the comment section when you guys tune in. I'm really hoping that our guests join us. They emailed me earlier while I was in training and I missed the email. But such is life.
That's life. So we're going to be talking to ourselves for a minute.
Yeah, let's get some viewers in here. We've only been live for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, somebody's going to get a notification saying Hill City Paranormal is live.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they'll jump in and talk to us so we're not talking to the screen. I don't like talking to the screen. We're lonely.
Hello. Hello, is anybody in there?
We got Michael Brooks in here.
Hey!
Long time no see.
Yes, I feel like I haven't seen you guys in forever. Speaking of this weekend's investigation, Michael and his lovely wife Shonda were able to join us at our location here in Lynchburg. And I just got a copy of an epic EVP that we got. Well, they got. I didn't get nothing. John Sullivan, FPRI, is the king of EVPs.
Him and Ryan Jones.
Yes.
I hate those guys. I'm just playing. I love them, but I hate them at the same time.
A recorder
those
and I...
EVP kings, man.
Yeah, a recorder and I don't get along.
Teach me.
I don't know why I can't get an EVP.
I don't know how they do it. Like those two, they just I don't understand it. I try. I guess they just don't want to talk to me through the little recorder thing. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. Now we've caught some epic EVPs on body cam.
Yes.
Like when we weren't trying, and I think that's even more compelling because you're like having a conversation amongst yourselves, and then all of a sudden, here's a third party, and that third party wasn't. Well, I guess it was invited if you're investigating, but what did they used to say when we were kids? Like, this is an A/B conversation. See your way out.
Yeah, I never understood how EVP works. Like, how come you can't hear it, but the recorder can hear it? Like, that's the weirdest thing when it comes to investigating. Like, how does the recorder pick the sound up, but you can't hear it? Like, it's like somebody's there, but they're not there.
I feel like that, is just like any other piece of equipment. You set it out, and then the spirit utilizes energy that it's gathered. In this case, it drained my walkie-talkie this weekend, but spirits can manipulate anything. I truly believe that. I truly believe that they can, whether it's drain the battery on your cell phone, your cameras, your equipment, and just come through.
I I believe,
you know, again, that goes back to like previous conversations that we had about that veil, right? So I saw on TikTok, and I think I told you about this like movie where these teenagers are driving up the road and they hit an invisible wall. And they're literally like knocking on the wall, like asking for help. And nobody can hear them or see them on the other side of the wall. And there's traffic that's coming. There's traffic that's coming the opposite way. And they're trying to like warn everybody. And so they're like waving their hands, but they can be seen, but they can't be heard. So a fire truck is like coming towards a wall, right? Full blast. And they're telling it to stop. It slams its brakes and the fireman gets out and touches the wall. And it's like an electric wall or something, like it zaps him.
Right.
I feel like that's kind of how it is in the paranormal world. Like there's a thin wall in between us and the spirit world where they can see us, but we can't see them. They can hear us, but we can't hear them. So then we come up with different devices to allow them to communicate or manipulate those devices and allow us to know that they're there, i.e. the REM pod, your favorite piece of equipment. You know, if a spirit just walks up and goes near it and, you know, just barely kind of, then it goes off. Or a cat ball.
Comes through.
Or a cat ball. You know, explain that. You had, hey, Daryl, shout out Bedford Paranormal and Clover Hill Village.
Mr. Paulette.
I'm continuously refreshing my emails here. I think we might have had a time mix up is what's going on with our guests.
Well, if they don't show, then we're just going to talk to our guests that decide to tune in tonight. We're going to have an open discussion. No show means our show. We have an open floor.
John Sullivan, the keeper of the fabulous EVP.
The man that I love and hate at the same time.
That just sent us, we've sent it over to the location and they are just like floored right now. I have an employee right now that just is in my inbox and won't, you know, stop. She's just like, oh my God, that's so cool. This explains a whole lot, you know, whatever. So.
Well, like I said, John Sullivan and Ryan Jones, man, I don't know how y'all get these EVPs all the time. Maybe y'all can we need to get John back on the show. Maybe you can teach me or explain to me how y'all get these EVPs all the time. Maybe explain how they work. I've been trying for years. Don't get me wrong, I've gotten some amazing evidence, some amazing things, but y'all are the kings of the EVP, man. Like everywhere y'all go. I've been with you to see them, see y'all get them. I've tried using your technique. Like I said, I love y'all and hate y'all at the same time.
Mr. Sullivan actually has his. I got the pleasure of investigating with him. Now this will be twice, and he definitely has his own unique way of investigating. And I think a lot of it has to do with being yourself.
He's a bad mamma jamma.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, it's kind of like some of the evidence that we've captured. We say this time and time again on our podcast, you know, some of the best evidence has been captured when we're just having a regular conversation.
Yes.
Or we're, you know, playing board games, or we're just living day to day normal.
Well, a lot of new people that investigate, and like, we'll talk about our past investigation. I know your group was having fun because, like I said, I've investigated with the FPRI guys that you had, and they have fun when they investigate. So my group was similar to us and how we investigate. They just had fun and they got a lot of evidence. And I will say a lot of people, when they investigate, I think they take it too seriously. You know, they go in with a straight face and straight hard at it.
Stressed out. You
know, you got to relax. And sometimes our best evidence come from when we weren't investigating. We were, you know, I would say the best REM pod activity we ever got, period, was good point, Daryl. But the best REM pod activity we ever got was playing Uno.
Yeah.
And that game was intense, but we were all playing Uno in a haunted location. And to me, that was the best REM pod. And we all know that's my least favorite piece of equipment that ever exists. Some people's the SLS, mine is the REM pod.
I mean, if you think about it though, like in day-to-day life, you know, we started this whole entire thing as a hobby. And, you know, the best thing I ever heard came from our youngest team member. She's a teenager. And she said,
I'm struggling to read these comments. I need to put my glasses on.
She said to me, she said,
Trying to
if
do
you are too serious while you're supposed to be enjoying a hobby, and I'm going to get her wording all wrong, but if you're too serious, then it's no longer a hobby, it becomes a job. And then at that point, it's no longer fun. So, you know, that really rang true to me because at the end of the day, we started paranormal investigating out of a hobby, out of a fascination, out of curiosity and things like that. And when you go in straight faced, tight lipped, and you're, you know, interrogating a spirit, or you're, you know, sitting there and you're just uptight, like in real life, I'm not going to approach an uptight asshole. Like, it's just not going to happen.
Well, while we got John Sullivan and Daryl in here, John, I will say Clover Hill is definitely a place worth going to. It's very interesting. You being the EVP master, I'm almost positive you're going to get one there. Our experience there was interesting. We had a lot of interesting personal experiences there. Including myself, one that I didn't expect to have. I went there to investigate the grounds, what possibly could have happened, and ended up having a personal experience, a family member come through there. So it's definitely an interesting location. I will say that I would love to hear what y'all get there. I definitely plan on trying it again myself. Very interesting place. Oh yeah, Daryl. I wasn't gonna put that out there, but since you did it, I will. Again, y'all are the master at catching them EVPs. For some reason, this one happens to catch apparitions. I don't know how, but she caught a nice apparition. We're not gonna say where there, but she caught one there. A good one too. A good apparition there. So I will say that place has definitely got some interesting things going on, and as a good haunted location does, you leave with more questions than you do answers. And in my opinion, with what we do, if you're leaving with more questions than you do answers, then you've had a good investigation.
I agree.
That's my opinion. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong or check me on that, but I feel like if you leave them with a bunch of questions, then yeah.
That's hard to do, capturing a spirit on camera. It is. And I discussed this on a previous podcast because Sean keeps saying I keep catching apparitions on camera. I don't claim to be a sensitive, a medium, or a psychic, but my intuition is real. And I think that if we all take, 5 minutes and listen to our intuition, it could keep us out of a lot of shit in life. 2B, we would be able to be in tune a little bit better, I think, with the spiritual realm. But, in this particular location, Clover Hill, something I had left, and I don't want to give it away, but I had left a specific building on the premises, and something told me to turn around and start snapping pictures. And I actually snapped more than 3, but 3 pictures back to back. And the first one was a young lady standing there clear as day. Second picture, it was like she turned and I got a side profile of her. And third picture, she was gone. So, again, I mean, the very first shadow figure, I guess, that I caught on camera was at the location that we investigated this past Saturday, and that intuition kicked in again. And we were at a specific part of this cemetery, and something told me to get out of there. Like, there was just a really dark, evil, just presence, like that told me to get the hell out of there. So I actually was backing up towards my vehicle and towards the road. And I had a camera that took raw images at the time. And it was a Canon. It was a professional photography camera that took raw and I had to convert. So just kind of looking through on my camera, I didn't see what I had caught, but I was snapping pictures as I was backing up. And once I came home and converted them over from raw images to JPEGs, there was it looked like a shadow coming out of the snow. It was completely a solid black mass. It looked as though it had almost like wings. And if anybody's curious, I can send you that photo. I still hold on to that quite a bit. Let me catch up on some of these comments really quick.
What's up, Corey Akers? Shout out to Corey and his band Loud.
Yep. Daryl said, love to have y'all back. Corey, one of my favorite lunch locations is Clover Hill. Well, Daryl, if you see a creeper in the parking lot, don't kick him out. It's just our friend Corey over here. John, no, it was not the blacksmith building. That night, the blacksmith building thermometer on the wall was reading 102.
Yeah, I didn't spend much time in there.
And my stepdaughter proceeded to go around the side of the blacksmithing tools and disturbed a wasp nest. So we got up out of there. Ronnie Anderson, Bedford Paranormal. Hello, hello. Elizabeth, aka Butterfly. That's a girlfriend of mine from West Virginia, y'all.
Ain't nobody here to see you, Otis.
She has put us on to some pretty interesting locations in West Virginia that we got to check out for sure. She says she will take us to the location, but she is not getting out of the vehicle. I just want to make that clear.
If I go to West Virginia, I'm taking my four-wheeler.
Yes, that is also. She said her and Say are listening and watching. Gang. Yes, inside joke. Yeah, inside jokes, guys. We got friends, all walks of life, all over the place. I love it. I love it. Daryl said, hey, my brother. I have a feeling that him and Ronnie have like a secret handshake. I really want to learn this handshake.
Hey, I better get in on this handshake. I need to get in on this handshake.
Butterfly said, hush it, Otis.
But yeah, when it comes to this paranormal stuff, I mean, it's a lot to discuss, a lot to talk about. And the main reason why we have these podcasts, again, so everybody gets to put their opinions and their point of view out there. I was talking to a lady at the bank today who was asking me a lot of questions about it, and listening to people who don't investigate perception of what they think we do is. And I'm going to tell you, it's very crazy how we all have very similar experiences. Even people who don't investigate, right? We all have the same experiences, and the people who don't investigate want to investigate, and the people who even jump on our publics. Ronnie, Daryl, John, a lot of us who do these publics and watching people investigate who've done it for the first time. Say no mo, gang. Looking at their tactics, I'm gonna tell you, I learn a lot from people who've never investigated before. Yeah, just watching the stuff they do.
I like hosting our public investigations. I'm gonna put it out there because
I love it.
When we are going to a location and doing an investigation ourselves, it's pull out the equipment and you're focused and you're concentrating, and
I get into a stance.
You're like it's kind of like an intense situation. You know what I'm saying? But when we host our public events, I love sitting back and being the observer.
Yeah.
And I'll and I love investigating with FPRI because they don't mind if I just think of a question and randomly ask it. They're just like, whatever, Courtney's talking. I don't care.
Tell my buddy I said, what's up?
So, yeah. But, I mean, back to the whole capturing EVPs and capturing apparitions and stuff like that. Those are all falling under the category of paranormal gold. Say says he's already at the Bouvier. Where are you? Daryl, I'm always learning, never know everything. That is 100% facts. That's in everyday life. I mean, point blank period. I learned something new from somebody every day.
every day.
Every single day, whether it's on a video game, whether it's at a convenience store, a grocery store, whatever, some of it I might be eavesdropping.
I learn more from the new guys than the experts.
Yeah.
The experts.
And you want to know why? Because
paranormal experts.
You want to know why that is, in my opinion? I'm going to give my opinion on that. I think because they're trying to develop ways to communicate where we, as I guess I'll call us senior investigators.
Senior?
Yeah.
You're a senior. You're older than me.
Oh my God.
You're older than me.
But
I don't have any.
I'm not talking senior in age, Sean. I'm talking
I know
years under your belt. But
calling me old?
Yes, you are old. You're old. You dress in pantaloons on a video game. There, I said it, Butterfly Live.
How you pause this camera?
But no, like, we're set in our ways. Like, once you develop a technique, it's kind of like that's what you roll with. But when you're with newbies that are just learning, they're developing ways and developing techniques. And so I love watching it because it's Butterfly, the damn pantaloons. Say says he is an expert in the paranormal. Say, we got to get you on the podcast. Let's see. Are there really any experts? Michael, the answer is no. None of us are experts. We are all rookies. Every last one of us.
Go to one of them meetings downtown Lynchburg. You'll see all the experts.
Here we go. It was only a matter of time, Ronnie. It was only a matter of time. Tyler, hey.
The haunted photographer.
Yes, excellent photography.
Bedford Paranormal and FBI showing out tonight. Okay. I see you guys.
Daryl said, wow. Howie. Yes. Ronnie said, oh shit,
Ronnie,
here we go.
Ronnie, I'm not going to go there. But look, I'm going to say it like, I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to start nothing. Don't worry. Y'all don't leave yet. Don't leave. I'm not going to start nothing. The reason why I say experts, because like I was sitting at a meeting. I'm not going to say who it was. But like, so I sit back and like, I'm very quiet. Like if most people who know me, so I shared this. I don't share this on my personal page very often. Because like I don't want everybody to know everything I do. I move in silence a lot. There's a lot of people who don't even know I'm a paranormal investigator. A lot of people in my personal life think I'm just a musician. A lot of people don't even know what my real job is. So I don't share this all the time. Not everybody knows everything I do. So, but when I go to these meetings, and some of y'all have attended these meetings with me, I'm very quiet because I like to just observe and listen to things. But like when you listen to some people, they're the experts. They know everything, and they shoot down people's evidence, and they'll tell you what's real and what's fake, and this, that, and the third. And I'm just sit back and listen. I'm like, okay. But really, at the end of the day, you realize they don't know shit. But when you watch these guys who've never investigated before, and you guys who've been investigating for longer than I have, like I said, I've got about 20 years into this. So those of you who have, and there's people in this room, in this chat, who's been doing it way longer than I have, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you watch somebody who's never done it and they're gung-ho and they get out here and excited, you will see some things that you look at and you're like, I'm going to try that. I've never seen it done like that before. And you go out and it works. I kid you not, it happens every investigation, every public investigation we host. I'll see somebody doing something. I'm like, I've never seen that, but that looks interesting. I'm gonna try it. And I've gone out and tried it, and I've gotten something to happen. It's the craziest thing, and I think it's a beautiful thing because it contributes to the growth of what we try to do as an investigator. I think it's awesome. Awesome thing to do. Awesome thing to see. I love seeing growth in the paranormal field. It's very cool.
You're wearing paranormal pantaloons.
Listen, y'all gonna stop talking. What is this about pantaloons? I don't understand why y'all keep talking about pantaloons.
Angie, hello, Angie. I hope you are feeling better. Please let me know in the comments. Angie is with Bedford Paranormal.
Yes, Angie.
Let's see. Howie said experts. Yes, the only expert here is me. Didn't you know?
No, say no more is an expert.
Oh yeah, Say is an expert. I forgot. Let's see.
What's up, Samantha from Wyoming?
Yes, Ronnie, you were sitting in that meeting.
I was quiet at that meeting.
John said he knows what you're talking about, Sean.
Right. You know, the guys who host Publix in here, you learn so much. I want to keep saying that. Like, you learn so much from people who have never investigated. You just watch them for a minute and you're like, what in the world? Why did I think of that?
Hey, Sam.
Beautiful thing.
Sam is all the way in Wyoming.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in. We love all of our guests far and wide.
So next thing, so back to the EVP thing. So now that we got some people in here who's been in here, you know, for a minute, I want to know how these so can y'all tell me how these EVPs work? So you got a recorder, right? And again, I suck at getting them, and I admit it. I will admit my weaknesses publicly, and I will admit it in front of y'all who are great at getting them, and I suck at it. How does this work? Like, you guys are recording yourself, and I hear it. And like I said, John Sullivan sent me an awesome one today. How in the hell does this? How can the spirit speak? You don't hear it with your own two ears. You don't. Nobody heard it, but then you play it back on a recording, and bam. I have my theories on it. I've heard the experts give theories, but I want to hear you guys' opinion, or somebody type your opinion on how does the EVP actually work.
Yeah, we would love to know.
It's a topic that I would love to discuss. To me, it's incredible. Again, I know you all probably have some great EVPs in your inventory, but you know, John Sullivan sent me one tonight that from his investigation this weekend that blew me away, and directly related to where we were.
How he jumps up on the stump, sits like a crow. Oh, this is going to be interesting.
I'm trying to make it interesting because I really want to know. Like, the EVP that we got was direct, and I'm not going to say it because some of you haven't investigated this particular location, and I like to keep it kind of a mystery. But John, if you can tell me to shut up. If you don't want me to put it all out there, but without saying exactly what it was, the EVP we got he was literally a specific name directly related to this location. Like, bam, right there. So I would like your opinion, and it looks like our guests.
Yes, we were experiencing some technical difficulties, but our guests have arrived.
And actually, when we bring them in, that's going to be our first question to our guests. So please give us your answers in the comments, and we're going to bring our guest on, and that's going to be our first question to them as well.
All right. Without further ado, we welcome the mysterious Mike and Sam.
You guys.
They're so mysterious, you guys, that they had some technical difficulties and showed up a little late. But hey, that's okay.
The spirit world was trying to keep you from coming, right?
That's right.
Well,
that's right.
It's mysterious and how you get on, I guess. I'm
That's
not quite
right.
sure.
You were mysteriously arrived.
I hear him talking about he's going to ask us a question.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a question.
We're jumping straight to it with you guys.
Yeah, we're gonna jump straight to it. We want to know.
Let's do it.
So we want to know, and Ronnie answered it. We're going to get to that too. I want to know everyone's opinion on EVPs. How do they work? So I think it's fascinating how you can be in a room with your recorder, ask a question, nobody heard anything, but all of a sudden you get a response on a recorder. And nobody heard it.
Look, I love you. I ask the same question all the time when we run events. I always say, why is it that I've got 5 recorders running and you hear a scream or something exceptionally loud that you should be able to hear audibly, right? So you don't hear it. You play it back. There it is. So if you got an answer to that, I'm willing to listen because I have no idea. But why can they see us? and they hear us because when you ask a question, a lot of times you do get an intelligent response.
Right.
So why can't I see them? Why can't I talk? I don't know.
Some of us see.
And why doesn't any and every recorder you use work? Because it doesn't.
But it's not the
Right.
same.
That's true. That is true.
That is true. Yeah.
And we've got some answers going already. Let's see what Ronnie said. As a fellow musician, I've lost hearing in different frequencies. EVPs are on different frequencies that recorders pick up. You may be getting them and not hearing them.
Well, they're supposed to be exceptionally low frequencies.
Yes.
Most
Now-
recorders start recording at what they call 20 Hz, which is about the sound of a leaf falling or something like that. And most EVPs are below that.
Now,
The only recorder I've ever used is the Panasonic DR60, the famous recorder that everybody uses on TV. We each have one, and it is a game changer.
yes, and that's the EV, or that's the recorder that was being used this past weekend with the EVP that was captured in question. I do want to touch on that though, because Ronnie and Sean have been musicians for many, many years in the live music scene, and if sound is not set properly, a musician will darn near go deaf on stage. So, I can't tell you, as I've been an artist in artist management for over 12 years,
Probably longer.
and I can't tell you how many sound guys that I've had to tell out in the crowd by his vocals if the sound is not correct on stage. So that is definitely an interesting theory. John said everyone has their own theories and opinions on EVP. Ed Odell said, "Hey, Mike and Sam."
Hi, Ed.
Hey.
Well, I have to
Ron-
agree with you. It's something to do with frequencies and how sensitive your microphone is. I'm pretty sure.
Well, it's no different than SB7, because when I'm doing Estes, it's that frequency where they can come through so
Mhm.
clear. So
Yeah.
I'm all about the frequency.
I'm going to have to agree with that.
It was a good answer.
Yeah. Ron Wood, shout out Booze Paranormal. He's got some custom equipment. If you guys are interested, Booze Paranormal.
And also, if you have an idea about equipment, you can send it over to Ron, and he could possibly make it for you.
Yep.
Well, that sounds good.
Nice. We do have something we're looking to be made. So yeah, you'll have to shoot us some info.
Contact Ron Wood. I had an idea about a piece of equipment. I literally called Ron, told him everything, and like a week or two later, he shot me over what he made, and I use it on my investigations now, and it works great.
Cool.
Good.
Hello, Samantha. I'm just trying to catch up on some comments. Sorry about that. Hello, Samantha. John said sometimes we have two different recorders going at the same time. It's definitely a frequency thing. So that's also a good thing there too, because if you have two different recorders and it's picked up twice, that's like golden. That's definitely
Yes.
golden.
Yeah.
And we've done that with Stephanie O'Reilly at McIntyre Villa, where she's had hers on. I've had my mics had his on, and guests have had theirs on, but only the DR60s, two of them, and not the third one would pick it up, which is really odd.
That's definitely interesting. Corey Akers, damn guitar players. Ronnie said we suck. I know. Howie, I'm going to drop it here. If you create a box, 2 foot by 2 foot, fill the box with several different sizes, attach a mic to a recording device to the rear with a cutout 3-foot hole, this will give a series of depths and frequencies. Well, Howie,
Oh,
I agree with that, but I don't have a 2 by 2 box.
And I don't know
Just-
how to fill it with several different sizes either. I don't have a mic I can attach, so I'm kind of a virgin here on this.
we're not
It's-
technical people.
You know what? I'm not. And here's the thing. I'm not a technical person either. Sean is our tech guy on our team. And Howie or Ed Odell, aka Howie, and Sean actually have a whole separate podcast all on techs and specs. It's called G3, Ghosts, Gadgets, and Gossip.
Wow.
It airs on Sundays. Right now, they're trying to kind of nail down, but that's where all this tech talk comes from. He said it's called the Woo Box, created by a master electrician of VA Power.
Interesting.
Yes, Ronnie, guitarist
Very.
R Diva don't want to be heard. So I want to know, though, the number one question that I want to know is, you are not just the mysterious Mike and Sam. You are also Epic VIP Events LLC with the mysterious Mike and Sam. Tell us a little bit about you guys.
Go right ahead.
I don't know how far you want to go back. We could go way back in the day. We probably won't go that far back. I'll just, in a nutshell, for our company, we hosted events for Haunted Rooms of America. You may have heard of them. They were like competitors of Ghost Hunts USA. So we worked with them 3.5, almost 4 years, doing events, hosting in 4 states here in the Midwest. We had events of our own prior to going to work for Wes or whatever, the owner, but it just gave us more exposure. We got to get into more places for free, that sort of thing, met a lot of like-minded people. But it had always been a passion of ours to host our own events. And so after this past December, we're just like, I think we want to do our own things.
Yep. And we just made the decision to do our own company, and we listed 12 or 13 events in January, and we're now sold out through November.
I love it.
We have a few.
I love it.
We have
I
2
do.
tickets, but
So if you've seen the place on TV, at some location we probably have been there.
well, around here, not necessarily.
Around here. Well, if we're not running events, a lot of times we'll get friends together, rent someplace, and go investigate it ourselves. We just came back a couple of weeks ago from the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum on a Saturday night. And then on the night, we went to the Sweet Spring Sanatorium. Both were fabulous.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. So what locations do you guys host right now?
And this weekend, on Friday, we're headed to Ashmore Estate. Oh gosh, the McIntyre Villa in Atchison, Kansas, Ashmore Estates.
In Ashmore, Illinois.
In Ashmore.
The Glore in St. Joe, Wyeth Tudor Mansion in St. Joe, the Courthouse Exchange in Independence, Missouri. We've been to Alexander Majors.
Josh Hurd and
Malvern
Malvern
Manors
Manor.
coming up in November. Squirrel Cage Jail was on there, but that one we had to postpone.
Gosh, I don't know. There's so many.
Cheney Mansion,
We
which
lose
is
track. Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Anyway, the favorite place, if you just ask me my favorite place, McIntyre Villa. Stephanie,
I've heard that. University.
It never disappoints.
Have you had her on yet? Have you had her on your show yet?
Who?
You got to be on your podcast. She's you got to be careful though. She's got the energy level of 10 5-year-olds. She bounces.
Just on crack. So I just warn you in advance.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Stephanie O'Reilly.
I have not had her on our show yet.
You'll love her.
You'd love
Your
her.
guests will love her. It's the 1889 McIntyre Villa in Atchison, Kansas. It was just nominated or voted the top haunted location in Kansas, I believe. Due to somebody it's on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely got to get her on our podcast for sure. But, going back to that location, this is not the first time that I've heard about it. We've had several teams state that that's their favorite location.
Yeah, I've heard that.
It just never disappoints.
I'm sorry. What did he say?
Oh no, I was listening. You were saying it never disappoints.
There's activity all the time.
It's almost poltergeisty because you get doorknobs will rattle and shake and jar. You can hear people walking. You can hear things dropping and being dragged across the floor. I heard high heels. I was been there by myself setting up for events, and I would have sworn that somebody was in the house. We've heard audible babies crying. A lady asked, "Where's my baby?" There's cats that'll walk around. We have images of cats that some of our friends have sent us where they've got a ghost cat and it's illuminated. You can see its spine. It's so bizarre. It's
Oh,
just,
I would love to see that.
it's magical. I'll send it to you offline.
Yeah.
Please. Yes. The infamous ghost cat.
Yeah.
Almost every location has it. He eludes the camera, but you have a picture. I've got to see it.
I have one at a private location. Well, it's a very historical, but she doesn't allow many teams to come in at all and share. But I have a cat that is standing up on his front paws with his back end up in the air. He's playing with a balloon. It's the one. I'll send it to you as well. It's the
Oh, yeah.
darndest thing.
Love it.
Had a whole video of him. Yeah.
I love it.
Animals are in spirit too, right? It's not
Sure.
just people. So
I agree.
does that mean spiders? Because I don't want any spiders.
No spiders and no snakes. We can
Yes.
keep those out of the spirit world. Cats and dogs, I'll take them all day.
All
Let's
day.
see.
Absolutely.
Ronnie said Avenel has a ghost cat. Everyone has seen it but me. Ronnie, that's funny.
Yeah, we didn't see that when we were there.
I didn't see the ghost cat. I didn't hear the ghost cat. I didn't feel the ghost cat. However, my stepdaughter
Yeah.
got scratched on her leg. She said that she was wearing a pair of Chucks, and she said that she felt like something was like playing with her shoelaces. And then about 2 seconds later, she goes, "Ow!" lifts up her pant leg, and there was a scratch down her pant leg. So Naya has had a run-in with the ghost cat. I did not see it. The cat has not been caught on camera. Howie said we actually had a cat at the cabin. That's funny. John Sullivan has a question for you two. Mike and Sam, do you have any contact info on Mid-Orange Correctional?
No.
Where
Where is it?
is it? We don't mind checking into it, but we have no clue where it is.
Mid-Orange Correctional Facility. Where is that, John? Wait for him to comment and
So
try to figure out.
while he's typing, where do you guys investigate?
Where are you out of? I think that's,
So we
tell us about
are-
yourself. We don't know anything.
He answered really quick, and then I will. Warwick, New York.
Little out of my range since we're based out of Kansas City, basically.
Yeah,
well,
we can't look at it.
find out
Though.
for you, John.
We got friends
We
out
do
that way.
we do travel. I mean, we get it. Like I said, if we're not running events, we'll try to pick a location and
Yeah.
grab a bunch of friends and say, hey, do you want to go to the Bell Mansion in Indiana? Do you want to go where,
Waverly.
Missouri State Pen? Go anywhere. And as a matter of fact, we got excited. Some paranormal team from your neck of the woods called and said, would we like to help a charity event in the Florida Keys? Robert the Dog
Ooh.
run a charity event to help some animal rescue place in Florida.
Yeah.
And I'm going,
The animal
Robert the
sanctuary.
Dog, it's in Key West. Well, hell yes, I'll go.
That's right.
Yeah.
Got to go
Thank
visit
you.
Robert.
Have you guys been?
So we have not been. We are out of Virginia, and we, I think, have stayed like team wise. We've stayed in the state of Virginia. Now, Sean and I have done investigations outside of Virginia, as far down as Savannah, Georgia. We'll go all over the place. We do a lot of urban exploration. I like to take pictures of like abandoned buildings or like rundown, dilapidated, old timey early 1900s like structures. So there's a lot of the time that Sean and I will just hit the road and flip a coin for left or right, and
That
do
sounds
that.
that sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then you never know what you come across. So, Savannah is definitely, we consider that once a year our second home. But this year we are actually switching it up and taking our vacation to South Carolina. So we're hoping to get some locations in there, which would be awesome. But we've investigated all over Virginia.
Yeah.
The one place that I haven't been that is coming up for us is Virginia Beach. So I'm excited about that one. I mean, I've been to Virginia Beach a dozen times leisurely, but
Yeah.
as far as like paranormal wise, we're going out to the Fairy Plantation here in a couple months. So I'm excited for that one. That's one I'm excited for. Let's see. John said we do the same thing. We go all over the place, as well as investigating Mid-Orange is on my radar for 2025.
Well, now
I'm
that
gonna
you
write that
mentioned
one
it, it
down.
might be on my radar too. Yeah. When I said we go everywhere, but that was COVID kind of slowed everything down for a while.
Yes.
We even went to Jamaica, to the home of the White Witch, which
Ooh.
you can't laugh and joke and smoke down there. It's voodoo, so you got to get a
Right.
real serious face going. But you have to. Let me tell you this: I am an alien enthusiast. I chase aliens.
Okay.
So we've been to Point Pleasant, West Virginia, chasing a Mothman. Been out in the domes at midnight out there. I drug her out to Area 51.
You didn't drag. I dragged
Yeah,
you.
right.
It was my. It was my board meeting.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Greg and Dana Newkirk from the Traveling Museum of the Paranormal?
I have not.
Okay. Have you heard of Hellier or The Unbinding?
No.
What?
You can watch. Those are two events they created, and they're both true.
Two documentaries.
Two documentaries, basically. The Unbinding is still on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
So they run a haunted museum, and when people have stuff they don't like, or it gives them trouble, or they think it's giving them trouble, they give them to Greg and Dana Newkirk. And they gave them what do you want? They call it the crone. All right. So they gave them the crone, and Greg and Dana had a mess for a while. I mean, things happened in their house you can't even begin to explain. So they made a documentary of how they explored it, tried to talk to it, tried to understand it, and then what they did to unbind it, basically.
Yeah. And return it. So.
And return it to a proper location.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I just recently got into haunted objects myself. We went to Gettysburg and we did the Museum of Haunted Objects out there. And it kind of fascinated me. And we got into a topic on one of our previous podcasts about attachments to objects and whether or not they're, like attached to the previous owner, or are they attached to, say, like something more sinister? I'm not sure. I guess I would love your opinion on that. I feel like Hollywood tells us that if something sinister is around, it could take shape and form of whatever it so chooses, including objects, dolls, things like that. So what is your opinion on haunted objects?
Well, we have one. His mother passed away, God bless her soul, several years ago, and she gave me two of her dolls in her baby carriage before she passed, and had at home. Is during COVID, I had them out here in the living room, and as I was walking back down the hallway to get back on my computer for work, I heard something, and I looked down. I thought it was one of the dolls, and I'm like, wait a minute, did one of you guys say your name is Rebecca? I was like, there were two. One was not. She just looked like she was just a doll. The other one just had a vibe about her. So I went and got my DR60 and I did a little EVP session with her. And she clearly says her name is Rebecca, like Rebkah, because the K is so pronounced when she says Rebecca. So I absolutely think that things can be haunted. Well, it was my mother-in-law's doll. So was that one of her friends? Where did she get it? Was it the name of someone who gave it to her? Someone who visited their home? Because she was in her 90s at that point. Right. So, I mean, it could have been really anything. So,
you know what? It's really, I mean, those are great questions, but they're so hard to answer because nobody knows. You know, I always have to get in front of my guests and give them a speech on what to expect and stuff like that for the event. But I also tell them that the paranormal is just, nobody knows what's going on. Everybody's guessing. If you get an investigator at some event and they tell you they know this to be a fact or this is a fact, get your money back and run. Nobody knows. I don't care if you've investigated 100 years, you still don't know what's going on. Unless you died and gone to the other side and said hello to everybody and come back, you might understand it. But we're all guessing. So great question. Yeah, great questions, but I have no idea.
But I do think, because we've witnessed it for ourselves, because I used to be on the board of Greg and Dana's museum, or what they call a museum. It's not a brick and mortar museum, but they were working with the kids called Haunt Me out of Maine. They have a YouTube web series they're used to. And this guy claimed to have a Dybbuk box before the it was like the first Dybbuk box I'd ever heard of. And so he said, oh, the Dybbuk box, it's the name he's given me as Pylon or something like that. And it's all bad. He had it wrapped up in chains and all this stuff. And the kids all took it around everywhere. And he was supposed to be extremely ancient and everything.
And very evil.
And very evil. So Greg and Dana took it because they take haunted objects and they do EVP sessions with them, 3D imaging, everything to try to figure out why they're haunted. They took it and x-rayed it. They did a CT scan of this thing. It was a Glade candle. It wasn't old. It had the little ring in the bottom. It had an old Glade candle in it. And it was something. And they caught the guy lying. He put it on eBay for sale for $10,000. And because they thought it was haunted and they're setting all these negative intentions and fear around it, I think it's possible to manifest something negative, like a PK manifestation surrounding that. Because I know Zach has one in his museum now that supposedly Post Malone got something happened to him in there and all of this stuff. But it's just, intentions are real. And I think if you're putting negative intentions into something, that's energy, and it can form into something not so nice. We have a haunted location here pretty local that someone has done that to. And I'm like, you guys don't, it's not knocking the location. It's extremely haunted, but the one thing that was brought into that house or delivered into it, someone set their intentions into it and they just fed the story. And now it's all over the U.S. It's out of control. And so everybody has this huge amount of fear going in there.
Most of it's not true.
It's not true at all. I know the person that put the thing in there, and I won't say because it would reveal too much, but somebody put something in the place, and it's caused all this chaos, and the fear factor is just blown through the roofs.
I'm gonna let you go ahead and take on that one, because I know that's one of your top topics is fake YouTubers.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that going around with people adding to stories and hyping things up, making it more than what it is. And the most I'm really want to say about that is you can't prevent it.
No.
We can talk about it, we can get mad about it, but it's going to happen. It's unfortunately in this field, and it's a hurtful thing. It's a sad thing. However, the only thing we can do as investigators is keep telling the truth.
Yes. I saw a video of him wearing a skirt. We'll go into that later.
The only thing we can do as investigators is keep our evidence as real and as authentic as possible. If we're going to share it, if we're going to put it out there, there's people like myself who don't even share evidence for that reason, because there's so much fake stuff out there that people are quick to shoot it down. Right. And so when there's something real out there, everyone's going to question whether it's real or fake or not. I mean, I've had it happen. So,
I feel like we could only change it, or we can change it in the paranormal world, one location at a time. As fellow investigators that also host public events, much like yourselves, we've been approached with locations and asked to host events. And of course, our very first, if we've never investigated the location before, our very first response is, can my team come in there first and do some investigating prior? And, of course, they're open to that. Absolutely, yes. And after and I'm not going to put this location out there publicly, but we went in there 3 separate occasions. We did not feel as though it was a haunted location. Do I feel that there's history attached to the building itself and the location in which the building sits? Yes. But as far as selling it, so to speak, we didn't feel comfortable with that. So when, we approached the owner and we were just like, hey, this might not be a good idea, then things came out like, oh, well, we could just sell it this way and we could say this. And, I said, you can say whatever you want. We are not going to put our name behind that. Because, then you're going to turn into Hill City Paranormal is a bunch of BS, and you don't want that reputation, because then that trickles down, Let's see. John said paranormal YouTubers have to fake shit just to get people to watch. And that is a key right there, John. Views. People do things for views. I don't know if you heard about this app where you can snap a picture and it puts a ghost in the picture, like a spirit. The spirit, and I can't for the life of me, if anybody's in here that knows what app I'm talking about, I feel like it's called like Ghost Tube or something. There's an app
Swap or something like that.
Yeah. So I've seen some of these pictures get posted and it does make me actually do a double take because I'm like, oh crap, they caught. Never mind. That's way too obvious. Like once you go to zoom in and stuff like that, but they put ghosts in the pictures and they're fake. So, it gives us as paranormal investigators a really bad rap.
It really does.
Well, the people that do that, there's an ego involved, and they want to get recognized.
Right.
You guys, and probably us, I know, we're not in it for the fame or the money. It's just you get a chance to meet a lot of great people doing these investigations. Right. You get to go to a lot of places you've never been before, and you get to investigate. So we're just trying to keep it as real as possible.
You also get stories, especially if you're sensitive and intuitive and medium or whatever. You get to tell the stories of the locations. You can feel and sometimes see people in their space back in the day, whether it's residual or it's intelligent, right? And just being able to get, that's why I go, is to get the stories that are still yet to be told. That's one of my passions.
I think we were discussing that. You said something about that, like leaving a location with answers or questions still.
Yeah, I always feel like if you're doing an investigation and you leave with more questions than you do answers, you had a successful night. On all of our publics, I throw the disclaimer out there before we investigate. You never know what's going to happen. You might have a night where there's nothing going to happen. We've been in the most haunted locations around here, and nothing's happened. We've all fallen asleep or left early because nothing's happened all night. And then I've been in locations where I didn't think was haunted at all, and it blew my mind. One of the body shops that we investigated, not too far from here, I walked in there thinking this ain't much. It's a body shop. And then we did the history on it after investigating. I'm like, holy crap, there was a murder here, a suicide here, all kind of stuff that happened here. And looking back on the evidence, I'm like, oh, holy crap. It was one of the most active locations we did.
Yeah, we don't take a whole lot of personal cases just for liability reasons. In today's society, that's a whole nother can of worms. But this particular body shop was a private location, but was a place of employment of one of our team members. So they were experiencing a lot of weird things that they couldn't explain. And so we decided to go, obviously, because, one of our team members works there and he wanted to investigate it. So he was liable at that point. But I mean, John said it best, though. So many paranormal YouTubers think they're TV stars trying to do what TV does. Too many people doing the same shit. Be yourself, investigation wise, be true, and good things will happen. I agree, John. I agree with that in every aspect of life.
Absolutely.
I really do. You gain respect by being yourself.
The biggest problem I see with TV shows is that it gives people a false reality of what we do as investigators.
And hope.
When people see the TV show, it's like, oh my God, that's what happens on an investigation? Let me go investigate. And then they realize that we're sitting there for hours and hours of
staring at a wall
and talking to the air. And nothing's happening.
Been there. Yes, absolutely.
Well, I will say one of the things that Mike does before we start our events, which we clear the energy, because I'm a huge Reiki master and all that, but still I'm huge on energy before I even did the Reiki stuff, right? Because if somebody had a fight on their way there, or who knows what happened, they brought all that negative, they had a bad day at work, and now they're coming into our event with all that baggage. Just like we clear the energy out of there with my sound bowl. But one of the things Mike will tell them, because we've had the pleasure of investigating with Amy Bruni and Adam Berry and Grant and the Ghost Brothers, all those guys on a number of occasions. But one of the things I will say is Mike will tell you, and even Amy and Adam will tell you, you can sit there and be in a location because they're 3 to 7 days, depending on filming time and all that. But sometimes they sit there and they do twiddle their thumbs. That's why they have such a limited season, right? Probably because there's only so many locations that they actually got evidence in. No matter how famous it is for activity, you can't, they're not going to act upon demand. That's not
they
how
don't
it
do
works.
that. You're right. I've been in places, just like you said, twiddling my thumbs is the most exciting thing I did all night long.
But
Yeah.
you
Well, what
I
I make people do is I try to tell them when they come to an event, this is not like a TV show. It's not like a TV investigation. Be prepared for something else. Secondly, I always tell them to set their intentions. I tell them, setting your intentions is one of the most powerful things you can do. You are who you think you are. You are a product of your own thoughts. If you think you're worthless, you're worthless. If you think you're great, you're great. Your mind dictates who you are. So set your intentions to be great. Set your intentions to have fun. So I make everybody introduce themselves to the spirits and set their intention. What are our intentions? It's communication. That's why we came. We want to see if we can communicate with the other side, right? Hear their stories. Maybe help them if we can. Probably not, but at least listen to them and see what they have to say.
We don't cross anybody over. Just
No.
to be clear about that. We don't help in that manner.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, no.
I the first time I ever heard setting your intentions was through Greg and Dana Newkirk, and I thought, hokey. But then I started studying that. I didn't realize, and people don't realize this either, scientists have been studying intention setting for 30 years. And they say when you set your intentions, you create a spark in your DNA and you change your DNA.
Well, I mean, this goes back to those self-help tapes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's what that's all about.
If you drive to work every day with a tape playing that says, I will have a good day. I am an amazing person. I am worth.
Set your intentions to be that.
All the way to work, you're going to walk in and tell everybody, good morning. Hi, how are you? Because you feel better about yourself. You know, our parents taught us growing up. I mean, I don't know about yours, but I know my mom used to tell me all the time, talk to yourself in the mirror. And I thought that was the weirdest thing until I got older. I'm like, I'm going to talk to myself in the mirror. And then, you know, as I got older, if I'm having a bad day, sometimes it does help just to go in the bathroom and just be like, this isn't, you know, a bad life. It's just a bad moment. Let's get over it. Like, how can we get over it? All right, let's do this. Go, you know? So
I agree.
it is. Yeah, you do. You have to talk to yourself like you do, you know,
I
and
myself too, though. So sorry.
that's what makes us weird. And it's great. Sometimes I have an excellent conversation with.
When you say weird, I love it. Have you ever heard of John Tenney? John Tenney had his own TV show called Ghost Stalkers for a while, probably 10 years ago.
Real familiar, Ghost Doctors.
And anyway, if he doesn't know it about the paranormal, it hadn't been written. He is one of the funniest guys. He also believes in saving intentions.
Yeah. So what was your purpose?
Yeah,
you kind of forgot it.
Too hard to explain how to do it.
That's what I heard it, John.
But you're right. So you've got to believe in yourself. You know, I've always heard, I want to learn. I want to be better. And like he said earlier, some of these people who I've never seen before, and I watch them, they're so excited. I'm also thinking, damn, that's pretty good. I'm going to try that. Why not?
Yeah.
Because I've always heard, if you walk into a room and you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Sean was actually talking about that prior to you guys hopping on. We were talking about, yeah. When we're on public investigations, it gives us almost like a breath of fresh air, because I feel like the newer investigators that come in actually teach me more than say like a seasoned investigator.
Right.
Because, after we've been doing it for so long, we develop a method, we develop a technique, and then we kind of are set in that way. You know what I'm saying? So then when you get a
Exactly.
new person, they are developing new ways, and you're like, man, I never thought about that. Like, it might even be the silliest thing, but we're always learning in this field. And that's what I love about it the most. What about you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
How else are you going to learn without watching everybody else?
That's
I
true.
learned everything about paranormal investigation from watching somebody else.
That's why. That's again. If you heard her say earlier, we've been lucky enough, very lucky, to investigate alongside Amy and Adam from Kindred Spirits, Chip Coffey, Dave Schrader, and Cindy Kaza, the Ghost Brothers, and you pick their brain clean.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever heard of Andrea Karen from The Conjuring?
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know her or not,
Yeah.
but we know her fairly well. And she was here in Kansas City, and she invited us to breakfast on a Sunday morning. So we said, sure, Andrew, we'll meet you. So I go into breakfast. Who does she bring down with breakfast? Well, she brings John Zaffis, who's a pretty cool guy to begin with. But then she brought Travis Walton, Fire in the Sky, the guy who was abducted from a lumber camp, disappeared for 5 days. Finally got him back, and the doctors investigate him, and they find metal inside him they can't identify yet. And I'm sitting across the table from him like a kid in a candy store. And you ask her. I picked his brain, but he's such a cool guy to talk to. That's where you learn. That's where you get a chance to actually find out, and try to better yourself. And the more knowledge you have, the better decisions you're going to make.
Agreed. Agreed. Ronnie
John.
Anderson said we use the Tenny method all the time. John said, I talk to myself a lot during investigation while running EVPs, and sometimes they talk back. One can only hope.
Well, that's when I will say Stephanie and I do nothing when we're together. We just talk and laugh and giggle all the time, and they will talk over top of us. That's when we get some of our best EVPs, when we're not paying attention to them and talking, because it's like, hey, I'm right here. Why aren't you talking to me? Is it that why you're here? Kind of thing. So,
When you do an EVP, you say, hey, be quiet, guys. I'm going to try to do an EVP. Well, with her and Stephanie, there's no such thing as quiet. They're laughing and screaming and joking and hugging each other. And when they play it back, you'll hear a male or female voice laugh with them or ask a question. I'm going, how the hell do you do that?
that's energy.
It's just pure energy. I
That's what Ronnie just said right here. We've gotten great evidence by just sitting and having a conversation between ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah, well, you know what's really cool, because I agree. You gotta figure out new methods and watch people so you can try something different. But Destination Fear, or Project Fear now, I had never heard of them, a couple of years ago. So I started watching. I love how they just separate, govern themselves, and just sit there. Let it come to you. Don't chase it. Just sit there and let it come to you and see what happens. That's
right.
a great way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm fascinated with the whole like UFO thing. We've got a guy on our team that he does that.
Maybe I need to talk to him.
One of our team members, Chad, he's got like a whole title, doesn't he? Like, what is he?
I can't remember what it is, but he was a UFO. He's a UFO.
Somebody will call him, and if they've had an alien experience or something, like he goes out and like
MUFON or something.
Yeah, something like that. I'm not sure. UFOologist or something?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
There's that too. Yep.
He does something. I can't remember what it was he does.
I mean, I'm interested in that. I'd love to, honestly, Mike, I'd love to have you back and just do a whole podcast on that, because I think that's.
No, you don't. No, you don't, because I'm going to shut up.
No, that's okay. That's what we want.
Yeah, we like talkers.
I just-
evidence
I
of
have-
what we did. It's crazy.
Yes, John, I did. I forgot to tell Sean about that. He, or no, we let him listen to it, I think. He had something touch his leg. And during the EVP, we started making jokes, and we were like, do you think John's leg is sexy? Is that why you touched it? And he got somebody saying, I did, ha ha ha, like right behind it.
I didn't hear that. Y'all didn't.
I didn't, we don't like to use that. Oh my God, John, see, now I'm in trouble. Thanks, John. Will you send us anything?
Y'all were holding nerding out on me. What in the world?
Yeah, it was like a like throaty laugh, like ha ha ha. Like I can't do
It
it.
still can't beat the other one he sent me though, because that one again, that EVP was directly related to where we are and what we were doing. And again, the EVP thing blows me away because again, it's direct contact, especially when it's directly related to what you're doing.
I feel like 90% of EVPs, like I like EVPs like that because I feel like 90% of EVPs that I hear are get out. That's like it. Like every ghost tells everybody to get out in an E EVP.
We were at. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, please go ahead, and then we'll address. Ronnie wanted to know Mike's.
I like Ronnie already.
Okay.
That is on my bucket list. I swear to God, I'm going to climb the fence and sneak in there. I would die to go to Skinwalker Ranch.
You should. He was going to wear his shirt that has 1.6 gigahertz on it. Like, no, we're not gonna. he
Ronnie
is
would
obsessed.
understand. Ronnie,
He
I
is
got a shirt
obsessed.
with the logo of Skinwalker Ranch, and right below it says 1.6 gigahertz. Yes, he'll understand.
You know, I tried. I really did try, guys. I'm sorry, I failed. I watched one episode of Skinwalker Ranch and saw nothing, and was just kind of like, "What is going on?" You know, I don't know. I don't know how I feel.
I feel like my dog
Experience it
Skinwalker.
because the
No, he's serious. There's something not right. There is something not right with my dog. Come here, Zuko. There.
Here we go.
maybe you brought something home from a location.
Come here. There is something not right with this guy.
He has human eyes. Like,
Look at this thing. There,
no, you got to get him.
there's something not right with this guy.
I
Yeah,
can't wait. Get him in the camera. I can't see.
you got to
Hold on.
scoot over
I
here.
can't
Hold
see.
on.
Get,
We'll
over,
get
get
him
him in the camera.
Zuko,
Come here, Zook.
Come here, Zuko. Come here.
Up.
Give me a hug.
Up.
Would you
Give me
call
a
him?
hug.
Come on.
Give
Up.
me a hug. Thank you.
Oh,
Oh,
you don't mind doing
Yeah,
it.
oh, goodness gracious. I like him.
Hey,
Let's see
baby.
if I can get him. There we go.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
goodbye.
He just tried to punch me. See, there's something not right.
Zuko came along.
There's something not right with you. I don't know what it is. There's something not right with this guy.
He has said that the dog's a skinwalker since we've got him. Zuko's 4 years old. Our dog passed away at 10 years old, and we swore we weren't going to get another dog. And we would hear our dog that passed away walking on the hardwood floors, and that was a loss that upset us deeply. Like, that was our dog for 10 years, you know.
You know
And
that
Yeah.
experience.
so I was scrolling Facebook about 2 weeks after he passed away, and I came across a post where the lady had put a picture of Zuko when he was 8 weeks old. And she said, there was a small rehoming fee to contact her, and it was like a replica of our dog that passed away as a puppy.
Oh,
Minus the dog that passed away had one blue eye and one brown eye. But I'm talking all the way down to a white patch on his chest, like the whole nine. So I sent the picture to Sean, and he said, "Oh my God." And that's all he said. And the next thing I know, my boss is coming to my office, and she's like, "Hey, Sean's here, and he has a surprise for you." And he went and contacted the lady and got Zuko, and here we are 4 days later. But Sean has said that Zuko is a skinwalker since we got him.
Are you a skinwalker?
He does some peculiar stuff. But John said every episode seems the same to me on Skinwalker Ranch. I agree with that. I do. I agree with that. Ronnie said we need to stick it out, watch it, that we'll love it.
Yeah.
I like it just because they're trying to do scientific evidence without just saying, you know, this is what I believe. They're actually trying to prove something, and they're really having a difficult time trying to prove anything out there. Everything they do gets totally screwed up, and not anything they're doing, but some outside force seems to exert some influence on their investigations and what to try to do. It's interesting. It really is.
Like, we witnessed something live happen to a little calf the other night on the most recent episode. It was devastating because I'm a huge animal lover. I can't stand to watch that. But for a frequency or something of that nature to affect that poor calf the way it did, there's something to it. There's something out there.
Yeah, there is.
And we've witnessed too many things on our own that we don't have enough time to get into that on this show. But
Oh, yeah.
we'd be happy to do that. I was going to tell you the one EVP where you said they're always saying get out. I have one that was clear as day. We were at, I don't know if you used to watch the.
Oh no, we lost
I
him.
know we lost him. We got to get him back.
Where'd you go? Come back.
Baby, come back.
Ron said sort of boring to me, but I would like to investigate there. I think I'm kind of with you, Ron, on that.
I think we were watching it on YouTube or something.
No, I like started it. Like somebody told me something about I really need to check out Yellowstone. So I started Yellowstone and it came up as a suggestion, like in the scrolling or whatever, like Skinwalker Ranch.
I couldn't get into Yellowstone.
Let's see. Daryl said I finally started season 4. Angie, when they come back, we're going to go ahead and say, does anyone study The Missing 411 or is it 411 by David? Is it Paulides?
Back.
Sorry,
Back.
sorry,
We
so
disappeared.
sorry.
You
Well,
didn't-
see, that's
you
what
didn't miss much.
when you talk about paranormal stuff, right?
That's what happens when
See?
you talk about Skinwalker.
See what happens
That
when we talk
or
about
spirit.
skinwalkers? Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Andy wants to know if anybody studies The Missing 411 by David I don't know how to say that. Paulides.
Paulides. I've seen the book and I haven't had a chance to get into it, but would like to.
Okay. Ronnie,
Okay, I don't know what
Skinwalker Ranch
I don't know
switches
what it is.
between 3 different scenarios: skinwalkers, government, and UFOs. Well, that explains why Mike is into it. He's a UFO person. And John, I'm not
Yeah, I like
opposed
it better
to
when they're on the
How would you? John said he couldn't get into Yellowstone either. You guys are fired.
Couldn't do it, man.
Oh, God.
Fired. There is
We've
so
not
much
watched it
drama.
either.
It's great. There is an action in every single episode. I'm just gonna say,
There's, John Wayne,
Kevin
Clint Eastwood. Those
Costner.
were
yeah.
John Wayne and Clint Eastwood. Those were westerns. This Yellowstone stuff.
It's not a Western. He's not portraying himself to be a Western. So, but anyway, we'll get into that later. But yeah, I did try. I will tell you what, I will pledge right here on our podcast to give Skinwalker Ranch one more try.
Watch
Because-
a more current episode. Watch
Okay.
a more current
Yeah.
one where they're really into the experiments that they're doing.
Well, this last season that's on right now is really more about there's something in the sky that's causing them a bunch of problems. And
Well,
they
don't
can't
give it
figure out
all
what it is.
away.
Well,
Don't
no,
give it
but
away.
it's to me it's sort of UFO-ish, and it's a great season
Or
for
vortex or
me. Yeah,
something.
vortex, weird. So
The
was
fact of the
gonna
matter is,
Go ahead.
the fact of the matter is, there are things out there that we cannot explain.
exactly.
My problem with TV is I'll fall asleep. That's my only problem with TV is I get tired watching TV and I'll get to watching the next thing you know what, I'll be dozing off.
We want to be out there experiencing it for ourselves, not seeing it on TV.
Right. That's what Ron said. He said, the show seemed kind of boring, but he would definitely like to investigate there.
I'm with you, John.
You can take a bus ride right up to the gate. but you
Yeah.
can't go
Oh, you
past
can't
it.
go there. Yeah. It's kind of
No,
like
they
you
got
can't go past
tours
the-
that get to the front gate.
you can't go past the scene where they shot Walking Dead either, up in like something. They've got that locked off, or I don't know if they've unlocked it, but I know at one point you couldn't like go where they were filming The Walking Dead or something.
Right, Ronnie. TV end up watching me.
Paracon. Wait, Portal. Paracon. What? Hold on. Portal.
I'm fond of the words.
Oh,
portal or
gotcha. He's not fond of the words portal or Paracon.
I'm not either, John.
Yeah.
Keywords
I don't
are good
know.
every time, guys.
And yes, Ronnie, the TV ends up watching Sean.
Yeah.
Truth be told, when I met Sean, I was not a big TV person, and I'm still not.
Yes,
like,
you.
no, I'm not. I'm a video gamer. I am, but I'm talking about sitting down and actually watching TV. I struggle. I do. It's got to catch my attention from the jump, or I will play on my phone, or I will do something else. If it does not catch my attention from the jump, I could care less.
Oh man, I watch a movie and I tell her if nobody dies in the first 2 minutes, I'm turning it off.
Yes,
Yeah.
I am with that.
I
I'm with
want
that.
Clint Eastwood or John Wayne to shoot somebody. I
Yeah,
want some
somebody needs to
action
get
right off
murdered
the bat.
here.
I got OCD or something. I can't stand to sit through a film where they do talkie.
Well, see,
Yeah.
we both got it with Roadhouse, the new Roadhouse with
Have you
Jake
seen that one?
Gyllenhaal.
Horrible.
It wasn't bad
Wait.
to look at, though. It wasn't bad to look at. I'm just gonna say.
I think she was drooling every time he took his shirt off.
Uh-oh, busted,
Wasn't often
busted,
enough.
busted. I did watch. I love the original Roadhouse.
Yeah.
We did watch the second one, and I think my expectations were too high. I think that's what happened. I think I was like expecting.
It was too unrealistic.
Yeah,
There's no
Yeah.
story. It's all way.
Conor McGregor had me laughing the whole movie.
Conor McGregor walking around. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. The whole movie. Yeah. It's too unrealistic.
Yeah, and I want to know, and people in the comments, let me know. Again, this is a show, all things normal and paranormal and weird. I want to know why he wrecked every damn car he got behind the wheel in that movie. Every car was into a pole, a palm tree, through a fence,
In the water.
in the water. Like every car, they needed to just take away his driver's license in the first like 5 minutes of him being featured on that movie.
How do
Let's
you
see.
remake Patrick Swayze, though? I mean,
And there you go. See?
That's what Ronnie just said. He isn't Patrick Swayze.
he's psychic or something.
Yeah.
You never know. But yeah.
Andy said repetitive scientific data is how you get answers. I agree
Yeah.
with that, Andy.
That
I
is
do.
true. And that's what they're doing on Skinwalker. It's the same experience sometimes over and over, and it's a different result every time, which it should not be. Or they get the same result, which is wrong, which it should not be. So it for me, it's fascinating because I'm still trying to figure out what they're trying to prove.
Gotcha.
What's causing all
What's
this stuff
causing
to
all the
happen?
problems? Why did they think they shoot rockets up and they stop in midair like they've hit something, but you can't see anything,
And deflect
and they deflect.
or disappear.
A rocket would go straight up in the air and then veer straight off left for no reason whatsoever, like it's hit the side of something. And it gets more weird than that if you watch the show.
So is there like as seen on TV, like the crop circles and all that stuff going on?
Nope, no crop circles.
No, but there is like a triangular type area. It's like
Well-
a dome almost, but it's in the triangle.
Well, I just tell they have a mesa and there's a triangle at the base of the mesa, which is not wrong.
What's in the mesa?
And they're drilling into the mesa and they keep hitting stuff they can't get past and they think it's a spaceship.
Well, they've got this because their radar shows that there's debris underneath. They've highlighted the debris like it's shattered underneath and they can't get through. And they keep bringing up the magnetic metal
Yeah.
shavings out of the mesa.
The metal they bring back is the same metal we put on our ships that we launched to keep the heat from melting. It's the same type of material. And why would they find that inside of a mesa?
You know?
Interesting.
Yeah, that'll definitely pique your curiosity for sure. I don't know.
You
Ronnie
got
said
mine
we don't know
going.
what's in the mesa.
Maybe it's a alien base because there's weird light anomalies that go into the mesa.
Yeah, they disappear. Little like
Well,
not,
they look
not a
little on
UAP,
TV.
but some blob of light will go right into the mesa. It just goes right into it and it's gone.
A space. Ronnie Anderson said space shuttle.
I had no idea.
Could be. I mean, we've got a buddy that we talked to that, you know, he's said some things that he's seen mountains open up. What else did he say? He saw like a plane or something like fly into a mountain and disappear or something.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
interesting.
he's ex-military or something like that, and he said that there's just a lot of things that, you know, they can't talk about and that we can't explain. And I mean, you know, look at Area 51.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, we've got a military. I went to high school in Arizona, and we had a military base where it was inside of a false mountain. Like, you know, unless you're from there, it would look like a real mountain mixed in. And then, yes, John, it is some Star Wars shit. But, you know, it would look like a real mountain. But when you grow up there, you know it's not, because you know what the real mountains look like.
Right.
So-
You got a sister that lives in Scottsdale.
No, and that's where it is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if she knows about the little fake mountain
Oh,
over there.
yeah, I'm pretty sure she does. She's big into the paranormal.
Well, and
Yeah,
your dad
yeah,
worked
I'm
at
sure she's heard about
McDonald's.
it. And let me know if you talk to your sister in Scottsdale and she says it, because I'm trying to prove a point. This one over here doesn't believe me.
Oh,
Listen, I never said I didn't believe you.
I'm telling you about the fake mountain. I understand I was in high school and I had a big imagination, but I'm telling you about the fake mountain.
I'm texting her right
well,
now.
When they talk about UFOs going inside different things, there's supposed to be a secret entrance that UFOs fly into the North Pole. And we've never been able to take a picture of the North Pole with our satellites because of the cloud coverage. You ever heard of Admiral Richard Perry?
Yes.
An admiral in the Navy. I mean, that's a hell of a rank to have. He said that he was flying a plane over the North Pole, and all of a sudden he came across land that was green and fertile, and he saw animals he had never seen before. And this went on for almost 1,000 miles.
He didn't see Santa Claus?
He came back and reported it. Now, he's an admiral. He's not going to make up stuff like that to damage his career. It's one of the most fascinating things you can read about. There's all sorts of weird things going on. How do you prove it? I always tell people, what if I told you to your face, I think the moon is hollow?
I mean, what about the Bermuda Triangle?
Yeah.
Well, you know why? You know who says the moon's hollow?
Who?
NASA says that. Google it. They think the moon's an artificial satellite.
Oh, Lord.
I love it.
Well, that's a really bright satellite.
Yeah. Well, there's legends of the old Indian tribes that say there was no moon in the sky back in their time. It just suddenly appeared one day. So how do you
Could
get
be.
by that legend?
I mean, Corey Akers said we live in the Matrix. I mean, we might.
Well, then you have to get really technical and go into the string theory with different universes. But there's some truth to that because there's so many. Your universe is different from mine. You see things differently than I do. Hers is different. So there's a lot of different universes out there depending on who's looking.
The moon doesn't illuminate anyway. What do you mean, Ronnie?
Well, it doesn't. The moon
What do you
doesn't.
mean?
The moon doesn't light
Well,
up.
no,
It's
the sun
reflected.
reflects off the moon. Okay, all right, technicalities.
I mean,
We could get into
we
could get into science all day
I
long.
look
Why
at it
is
like
the ocean
this.
blue?
I look at it like this. Okay, there's a whole lot going on that we can't explain. There's answers out there that somebody's not willing to release. So what I will say is this. There's TV shows that keep us watching. And they do enough on these TV shows that keep us watching. And it's interesting and it's exciting. For me to get into it, I want answers. Like, don't keep me watching season after season after season. Give me the damn answer. Show me the spaceship. Show me the alien. Show me something other than something to just keep me watching. I want to see what you got hidden under the ground at Area 51. I want to see the spaceship y'all captured. That's more me. I don't know about y'all. It is very exciting and interesting. However, I would like to see, when it comes to UFOs and stuff like that, I want to talk to the guy with the answers. That's more my style when it comes to the
Who's
UFOs.
got the answer?
That's the question. Who's got
The
them?
military.
Yes.
I'm sure there's a lot more.
Honest with you, I
I
don't think it's
going on. But the question is, are we ready for the truth?
Yes.
That's the question.
No, we're not. As a society, we're not. And I'm going to tell you why. Look at how everybody reacted. And I'm getting completely political here for a second on here.
Watch.
Look how everybody reacted when COVID happened.
Oh yeah,
That's all I'm going to say. We're not ready for answers like that.
we are not.
We're not. Yeah. Corey, you can't handle the truth.
Whatever.
Well,
Exactly.
tell Tom Cruise he's right.
Exactly. But hey, we are, well, really quick before I wrap it up. Angie said in a short way of explaining, the 411 is about people who go missing in our national parks. There are so many. The government doesn't document the national park disappearances. It's worth reading about. And David, if I'm mispronouncing David's last name, Paulides is an old school police detective trying to get to the bottom about what's going on. It will blow your mind when you start getting into it. Now, let me flip this on you into the paranormal realm, into crypto. Now we're getting into a whole nother topic, cryptozoology, which, you know, we don't have time for. But a Bigfoot hunter would tell you that they can explain the national park disappearances quick, I'm sure. Daryl said, we aren't the only occupied planet out there, but why would they want to come see us as screwed up as we are? That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Did everybody watch the presidential debate? Look at what we're doing.
No.
Well, ask
We're
Angie.
off our minds.
I need to ask Angie on that missing. I think that's a special on Amazon Prime. And I think I've got it taped. I just haven't gotten around to watching it. It's called The Missing. And that's exactly what it's about. All the people who go missing, they don't get reported.
Well, but it's also, as I understand, one of my mentors over the years, big into ufology, UFOs, whatever. And she swears there's treaties between us and the reptilians and the Greys and all these others that they're allowed, that the presidents have signed them. And I think John Tenney even confirmed some of this stuff that had been redacted and some of the stuff that's out there for, you can submit for public information under the Public Information Act law, whatever, that says that we signed treaties, our president signed treaties to where they could take so many of our children and other people
In return,
for staying away.
in return for scientific improvements.
Research, yeah.
We want their
Velcro and
yeah.
everything else, microwave ovens.
we want their technology.
Yeah.
I tell you what, guys, listen to this. There is a website out there called the Black Vault. They put out all the papers that are being released on UFOs and anything else. A lot of it is redacted. I've seen one about where supposedly when she said the president signed, President Eisenhower is supposed to have signed a document saying the Greys can abduct so many people in return for their technology, if they give us their technology. And it's actually, you can see it. So is it real? I have no clue. But the more people will look at it, maybe we can understand it better. Are they bullshitting about it? Whatever.
Yeah.
Thanks, Andy. Thank you.
I definitely do believe that, you know, there's, like I said it before, there's stuff out here that we can't explain. There's stuff that we aren't prepared for as a human race. We're not ready. We're not. You know, it just like we're not. If every sky right now and Earth got occupied by aliens, we would lose our minds. Like we would just not be able to wrap our head around that. That doesn't make sense. You know, look at wrapping it back into the paranormal. Look at how many people look at us like we're crazy for investigating the dead.
Yeah.
You know, that's still a very taboo subject.
What?
I was gonna say, I won't say where we were recently, but it's like going through and talking to spirit and getting information about places. It was like, they're like, they don't want us to share anything. And it's like that somebody thought I was faking, giving them information. And is it that, or they don't want to let people, are they so terrified of what may be there? There's nothing harmful at the location. Nothing's going to hurt them, but they're so terrified. They're like, nope, you can't share any of this information with the public. Don't put anything on Facebook about anything. And it's like, okay, but it's just,
yeah. We've ran into a location like that we couldn't post any of our evidence without clearing it through the curator. And
they won't clear it. Period.
Yeah,
they won't clear it.
Well, that's where I was going with that. So I sent an email with some evidence and was like, I would love to put this, you know, on our TikTok and things like that. And there was no response. It was just cold. I followed up multiple times, no response.
Yeah.
So, and this is a really well-known location. So it's just, we chose not to go back to that location because of that, because I found that to be, a little bit weird. But before we wrap it up, Ronnie said we need to plan a ghost trip to Egypt.
Let's do it.
Daryl said we live in the Bible Belt and people don't want to hear anything about the paranormal. That is very true, Daryl. We talk about that. There's so much history around where we're at in Lynchburg, Virginia, and so many places like just could capitalize on that, and they don't.
Mhm.
But
Exactly.
Mike, Sam, this is definitely podcast part 2 worthy. I'm very interested in hearing about UFOs and skinwalkers and things like that. I'm always fascinated when somebody can school me on those topics, because those are the least those are what's the word I'm looking for? Like I'm the least educated on those topics. I just haven't taken the time to. So, I mean, I would love, after this show, if you guys could kind of hang back, I would love to schedule another date to have you guys on.
Sure. We could talk
I know that-
wedgies and all that
Oh yeah,
stuff.
there's so many, especially the cryptids, which I'm not really into. But we went to the museum up in Portland, Maine, run by, what was his name? He's really famous in the cryptid world, and he's got a museum to knock your socks off.
Oh, nice.
I mean, it's not much bigger than a small 1-bedroom house, but it's pretty cool.
Let her wrap it up.
Wrap it up, and we'll hang back.
All right, no problem. Hey, I appreciate having you guys on the show. I know there were some technical difficulties. I'm so glad you could make it. And for everybody,
Oh, thanks for having me.
yeah, for everybody that tuned in, thank you. Without you guys, we could not have this podcast possible.
Absolutely.
But for all those that are still tuned in that don't know, I'm Courtney.
I'm Sean.
We're Hill City Paranormal, HCP Paranormal Podcast. If everybody wants to follow you on social media, Mike and Sam, where can they find you?
We're on Facebook as the Epic VIP Events LLC with the Mysterious Mike and Sam. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and I think Instagram,
Perfect.
Not-
And when's your next event?
TikTok.
I bet.
Well, our next event is this weekend at Ashmore Estates in Illinois, but it's sold out. We don't have any open events until October, and that is at Wyeth Tootle Mansion and the Beatty Mansion in St. Joe, Missouri. And our
Okay.
tickets are available on Eventbrite.
Perfect. You heard it there, folks. Sold out till October. So get your spooky hats on, because that season is coming quickly. Thank you, Jesus.
Yes,
Yeah.
favorite time of the year.
Yes. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a wonderful night.
Thanks, guys.